We've got 3 currant shrubs right over here. We've got a black currant and 2 red currants. And the red currant that is currently producing has been in here. This is its 2nd season, I believe. And one of you guys gifted me a start from your currant in your yard and brought it down to the garden center. So that is what we're harvesting today, which is so exciting to me. The other 2 we planted last spring, and it looks like, oh, we might be getting some black currants here soon. The red currant, are these both black currants? You can see this one right here. Look at these. I didn't even notice these. Oh my gosh, look at that. And then it looks like this one is the same. I thought I had a red and a black consort. Well, maybe we ended up with 2 black consort currants, which is just fine. This looks like a red lake. I can't remember if that's exactly the variety, but it looks an awful lot like the one I grew at our townhouse. I not only like to grow it for the fruit, which if you don't get to picking them, the birds clean them up and it's never been a mess, at least in my experience. They look like a cranberry bush viburnum to me. They have that same kind of leaf structure right there. But look at these. Look at how beautiful. They're like little jewels. And there's quite a number of them around the shrub. I'm really happy with it. We need 2 cups for our recipe for today. And I'm taking it that route because I don't think I'm going to have enough for a batch of jam. But that's what I'd like to get to. And I think once this matures a little bit more, we could end up doing either a mixed variety of currant jam, which my dad absolutely loves. I think that'd be really fun to make and gift to my parents. But I think this one shrub will end up producing enough once it's a little bit more established to make a lot of jam. And you can freeze these too. They freeze beautifully. So we've got our little basket here, which is lined, which is great. Cleans up really easy. So we're just going to come along and pick these off. Just like that. Till we have roughly 2 cups worth. They're pretty tart. So I know some people like to eat them just fresh and without anything on them. I have to have some sugar on them though, or have to incorporate them in a recipe in order to really enjoy them. Look at that. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. As I was getting into the harvesting, I just realized how many currants are on this shrub. So I'll come back out here later and get the rest of them harvested and frozen probably. And I'll maybe add them in with whatever these 2 black consorts produce for at least 1 batch of jam. But I did also want to show you our blackberries and how they're shaping up. We've got a few broken branches, mostly from wind, when the wind came through the other night. But we've got lots of blooms, lots of berries forming up. Look at this section right here. There's just a ton of berries. Those are going to be so delicious. I cannot wait. In fact, we're going to need to remove the bird feeder. We like to have it out here for like fall through spring, but in the summer months when we're right in the middle of harvesting, not the best idea to chum the birds in with a bunch of seed and then like present them with a buffet of delicious berries. Okay, before we go inside to do our baking project, I'd like to go check the garlic out. Oh, also before we get too much further, we are going to have quite the grape harvest as well. It's just loading up with clusters of grapes. Wow. I also noticed that we are going to have a few peaches and a few plums. So we thought that all the fruit got just destroyed in that one night that came through. It had been so warm and then it went down to 29 degrees. And a lot of people in our area experienced the same thing. But I was out there yesterday, I think, and I was just looking up in there, just kind of longing to see fruit. And I found some. There's not a tremendous amount, but there'll be enough to have some fresh peaches from our own tree this year. None to can. We won't have enough for that, but that's good enough for me. Okay guys, I've got our currants rinsed off, cleaned up. There's 2 cups in this container right here. And then I've set out all the rest of our ingredients. So let me walk you through that first before we start mixing and measuring. Okay, so we're gonna be using flour, sugar, brown sugar. We've got our salt, 2 eggs, a stick of butter, baking powder, cinnamon, vanilla. We've got our currants back there and some whole milk. It also, the recipe says to use a 9-inch cake pan or a springform pan. And I have got a 9-inch cake pan, but I kind of want to make it in this bundt. I think it would be really pretty. So we're gonna try that. Okay, the first thing we are gonna do, I've got a little softened butter here. We're gonna butter and flour our bundt pan so that hopefully none of the cake sticks in there. So that's always quite the process with these pans that have all the little ridges in them. Putting a little bit of flour in there. We're just gonna swirl that around and we'll tap out all the excess into the sink. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna start with our butter first, and I have had this sitting out on the counter for about 30 minutes, so it is softened enough, I think. There we go. I just realized why they said a 9-inch cake pan or a springform pan. It's because we have a streusel topping. Now, I don't have a 9-inch springform pan, so we're not going to be able to get it out of the container very easily, but we're going to abandon our bundt. Sad. Okay, there's our next prepared cake pan. My goodness. So we've got our stick of butter in here. Now we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. And I'm going to get my hand mixer so that we can mix this until it's nice and fluffy. Okay, so I think our butter could have been softened a little bit more before we started this, but that's okay. So now we're gonna add our eggs in one at a time. And we're gonna mix really well between additions. That looks good. Okay, now I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of vanilla. Roughly. Okay, now we're adding in 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. We'll mix that together just until it's incorporated. Now we're going in with a 1/2 cup of whole milk, and we'll blend that. Now 1 more cup of flour and 1 more teaspoon of baking powder. And we are going to turn this on and mix just until combined, and then we'll be done with our mixer. Okay, now I've got my spatula and I'm just gonna scrape down the sides. Make sure we can get that all incorporated. So that's what you're looking at. There's the batter. But now we need to prep our currants to go in the batter. So the recipe says to use the 2 cups of currants. My gut says to not use that many. I think they're gonna release way too much liquid, and I don't know that my family would love that. So I think I'm gonna use, we'll start with half and see what it looks like in the batter, and then we can go from there. But we do need to toss these with a little bit of flour so that they stay suspended in the batter instead of sinking. So let's start with half-ish. Oh, geez. Let's add some back in. Yeah, that looks a little bit better to me. I'd rather start with a little bit fewer, and we can always add more if we make it again. And then we're going to toss them with about a tablespoon of flour. Just really gently, just so they're coated nice and even. And now we are going to gently fold these. This is what they look like. Get you close. Whoop, see that right there? So we're just going to gently fold them into the batter. Trying not to crush them. They're pretty easy to crush. Yeah, I feel like that's plenty of berries. That looks beautiful, actually. Okay, now we need to put it in our cake pan, which I found one of these little handy parchment paper things so we can still get it out when we're all done. So let's pour it in. We're gonna try to get this as even as we can. Okay, now we're gonna make our streusel, and we're just gonna use the bowl we just tossed the currants in. Okay, we've got 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons, maybe, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. No, Benjamin, you cannot have any sugar. You don't need any extra silliness. A 1/4 cup of flour, and the recipe calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna do more than that. And then I'm just gonna use my fingers to mix it all up. I did use the nail brush on my hands when I got in here. I scoured my fingers as good as I possibly could. Gardening hands are a little bit rough sometimes. Yum. Okay, now we're gonna sprinkle this as best as we can over the top of our cake. Trying to get it even-ish. Probably be easier if my butter wasn't quite as melty as it was, but that's okay. Be good with oat streusel too, I think. Okay, oh, pretty good. Okay, the cake is ready to go in the oven. I've preheated it to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and the recipe says, I'm reading it right now, and this recipe is from katie@thekitchendoor.com. I've never made a recipe from her website before, so this will be interesting. I'm excited to see how it turns out. But she says to bake it for 50 to 60 minutes until the cake is golden brown or toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean, and then let it cool for 15 minutes, remove it from the pan, and slice and serve warm. So into the oven we go. I just tested it with a toothpick and it came out clean, and we're about 4 minutes shy of 50 minutes. So 46 minutes is what it took. Oh my gosh, it smells so good and it's beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna let it cool off for just a little bit in the container before I try to lift it out and put it in my cake dome. Okay, we are going to attempt to take this out. I did run my knife along the outer edge. It feels a little fragile to lift it out by the tabs, so I'm gonna do one of these. Well, apparently it's not too fragile. Do this, and voila. Now we just need to cut into it. So if you take a close look at it, it almost looks like I poked my fingers in the top. I assure you I did not. I think that's just where the streusel kind of sank into the cake. So hopefully that doesn't adversely affect the outcome here. That. I love seeing that there's currants up here. They didn't all sink to the bottom. I didn't get a very clean cut, but you can see where that streusel kind of sank a little bit, which doesn't matter. In a coffee cake, that looks so good. Okay, so now we just need to taste it. Mmm. Oh, that's yummy. The crumb is tender. It's just sweet enough without being overly sweet. Perfect with a cup of coffee. Mmm. And the tart currants are oh, my preheat just went off again. I've got chicken drumsticks ready to go in the oven, but kind of doing this projects around the kids playing with one of their cousins right now. It's been a little bit wild, but this is so good. The currants, the tartness just complements the sweetness of the cake beautifully. I'm actually really happy. I mean, that's one bite in. Really happy that I didn't add the full amount of currants, because I think the kids will actually enjoy this more, just having a hint of that instead of having it being overwhelming presence in it. I think you could add anything to this base too. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Wouldn't that be so tasty? Oh yes. Let me get the name of that recipe again for you guys in case I forget to link it down below, because I'm famous for that. You must try this recipe. It is so good. So it's called Red Currant Coffee Cake from katie@thekitchendoor.com. So I'm gonna have to check out the rest of her recipes. I always am excited when I try a new recipe from somebody I've never tried one from before, and it turns out really yummy, because that usually is an indicator of what you'll find, you know, from a lot of their other recipes. So that's exciting. That's a new find for me. Makes me so excited. All right, I'm gonna wait to take this giant bite until I turn the camera off. But this is delicious, you guys. If you give it a try, let me know. I would love some other feedback on it. I mean, the fact that the streusel isn't really on the top doesn't even make any sort of difference at all. It turned out like, I don't really want to touch the whole thing, but like it's a little bit crispy on the top, which is kind of nice. With the crumb of the cake being so tender, it adds a little bit of texture. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. A little change of pace. It was nice just having one type of perennial to plant that's always just like really, I don't know, it's easy and it's impactful, and then getting some harvesting done. I love that the garlic is done, and now I can just check that off my list, and we're early enough yet to plant some even long season, warm season crops, which is nice. And then doing this was always so fun. So anyway, thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. P.S. This is a cake I would make if company was coming over, or make it, wrap it up on a plate and take it and deliver to somebody. It's that good. Just FYI.